company's contract has since been terminated. For more on this, we're joined on the line by our reporter who's been following the story, Refiwe Mekwa. Good afternoon again, Refiwe. Well, we seem to have lost Refiwe for the second time today. Let's move on to our next story. Britain's cross-party talks aimed at finding a compromise on Brexit have collapsed without a deal. Opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn has written a letter to Prime Minister Theresa May saying the discussions have gone as far as they can. The UK is currently scheduled to leave the EU on the 31st of October. Our London correspondent Holly Hudson has more.
Well, this was always an ambitious plan. These crisis talks began to try and find a way forward before the EU elections are held next week and following Mrs May's deal being voted down a third time in Parliament. But after 6 weeks, the opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn has now pulled the plug, saying they've gone as far as they can and they've been unable to bridge important policy gaps, mainly Labour's desire to remain in a customs union. Now, the breakdown of these talks is perhaps no surprise, not least because the Prime Minister agreed to set a date for her departure, something many in her party have been calling for, following the next vote on her deal in the Commons the week commencing the 3rd of June. But it's Mrs May's departure that is most worrying Jeremy Corbyn. That is what he blames in his letter as the main reason for these talks breaking down, saying that while they've been held in good faith and with considerable effort, they're concerned about the instability of the government, essentially meaning they're worried that any successor of Theresa May will not uphold any agreement they make. No coincidence, perhaps, that Boris Johnson added his name to the running for the Tory leadership race yesterday. So what happens now? Well, Theresa May is back to trying to drum up support amongst MPs for her deal before the vote on the week commencing the 3rd of June, hoping that terrible election results for the Conservatives and the prospect of the same happening in the EU elections will scare them into backing it. But this is last chance saloon. Brexit was meant to happen on the 29th of March, then the 12th of April, and then the EU gave an extension until the 31st of October. Whether a deal will be reached before then is very much unknown. There could even be a second referendum or Article 50 revoked altogether. But what is known is that Theresa May's options and her time are very much running out. Holly Hudson, SABC News, London.